death is this very interesting thing to meditate on. This is a very peaceful graveyard. It's in the east of Scotland. Scotland is where I was born, and I've returned to it for somewhat the opposite reason of death. There is new life in the world, and that is being celebrated amongst a lot of my family. And I happen to be staying here for a couple of days, not in the graveyard, but nearby the graveyard. And as soon as I saw there was a graveyard nearby, I had to visit it, because death is something that should be contemplated while you are in the land of the living. My grandfather just passed away a few weeks ago, and I wasn't able to be here for the funeral, and so maybe one of the things that drew me to this place was that I didn't get a feeling of connection to his death. He was unwell with dementia for a very long time, and so it wasn't a surprise. But there is a difference between someone being here and them not being here. When I was walking around and looking at some of the graves, I saw many from the 1900s, early 1900s, the 1800s, and then to my amazement I saw a couple of gravestones where you could just make out dates in the late 1700s, notably the Reverend, who probably was the Reverend of a nearby church just over that way. Reverend W.C. Rose, who died in 1780 something. And that's amazing to consider, because I live in the United States of America now, and the United States of America as a country did not exist with its current territories, or even the beginning of it hadn't come to be when that person was born. And there's something that commemorates that existence. But it's very apparent that life is very fleeting, and we cling to permanence. We put these big stones in place, but they're all crumbling. You can't make out even the names of what's written on there just a few generations ago. And it is Scotland. There's more rain erosion here, so maybe in some mausoleums or other more arid climates, the feeling of that permanence is a little more permanent. But even in the great pyramid tombs of Egypt, those magnificent structures are buried by the sand and ultimately will fade away. Many people, from what I've observed, find death a very sad thing, and the absence of someone you love is a very sad thing. But like everything in life, sadness is something that is experienced in waves. It's not permanent. Even if you experience a lot of sadness in your life, there are moments of reprieve and lightness. It's a beautiful evening, and when I consider death, I find myself experiencing the unusual emotion of lightness and joy. Because at least for now, I get to be among the living, and I have a lot of fantastic reasons to be alive. And I'm surrounded by many other living beings around me. And that is enjoyable and good, and so for that reason I'm grateful. It's beautiful out here. So to wrap up, I will give you just a brief idea of what I've been looking at over the phone. This is the River Tay, one of the major rivers in Scotland. There's a wonderful viaduct there, the remains of which will possibly last longer than many of these gravestones. It's okay to walk over here because, as is noted on this stone, the body is actually buried somewhere else other than here. Buried elsewhere. Private G Isles. So here we go. This would be a wonderful final resting place. Although I lived most of my life here, I haven't spent as much time, if any, at all around this neck of the woods. So this has been a refreshing experience. This exact location is Cargill Cemetery. Correction, Cargill Graveyard. I've become quite Americanized, it seems. Although I suppose they might call graveyard cemeteries here as well. I've lost track. The world moves on.